Welcome back to the Gregorio Girls channel. So today I am going to take you through my everyday foundation, and I actually ended up doing a little bit of brows as well. It is July, so it is the summertime, and this is something that I've kind of been going over and perfecting and trying different things over the past couple of weeks to try and get a routine down that works for me. So I finally think I have nailed it, at least for now, because I'm always subject to change my mind. But I think I've nailed down a pretty solid routine for everyday makeup. So if you want to see how I get my flawless base foundation, just keep on watching. All right, guys, so I have pulled my hair back and out of the way, so we are just gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I always do, no matter what, is wash my hands before I start doing my foundation. The reason being, you're going to be touching your face with your primer, with your foundation, all that stuff, and you just want your hands to be clean. The skin on your face is very, very sensitive. Your hands touch a lot of germs and bacteria throughout the day, even if you're just starting your day. So definitely make sure you wash your hands. So I've already done that. First step in my routine lately has been the Too Faced Hangover Primer. Sean and I have talked about this before. This is definitely a favorite of ours. So I just get 2 pumps of that in my hand and I rub it around a little bit and just wipe it all over. So recently for my foundation, I have been using 2 of my usual favorites. The reason being is because I'm a little bit more tan than I normally would be, like in the fall or winter, because it is summertime. So I have been using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation in the shade 238. It's called Rich Tan, and mixing it with my all-time favorite IT Cosmetics CC cream. This is in the shade medium. So this one's a little bit like too light for me right now, and this one is just a tiny bit too dark. So combined, they do a really good job. The other reason I like mixing them is because this mattifies, but this has SPF 50 in it, so it still protects my skin when I go out in the sun. So usually what I do is I'll just take like a pump and a half of the CC cream on there. Usually just like 1 generous pump will do it. And then I just take a little dollop of the Fit Me. So you can see I just mix them on the back of my hands like that. It's pretty much 50-50. I use a little bit less of this, I think, because we're going to bronze later anyway. And then I literally just take my finger and mix them around on the back of my hand like this. If you're doing somebody else's makeup, don't do this, because this is not the most sanitary thing in the world, but for the purposes of my own face, this is fine. And then I just take my finger and I go boop, 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 and just spread it out all over my face. And then we take, a wet beauty blender. I just pick up the excess off the back of my hand, and then I just blend that all out. So I will say kind of the effect of mixing these 2 together gives me like a pretty medium coverage, definitely buildable, but I like to keep it nice and light actually, because I'm gonna go back in with concealer. So my next step is, I actually bought this concealer with the intention of using it as a highlighting concealer, thinking it was light enough, but it's actually a direct match to my skin tone right now. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in shade 25, medium. And then what I do, since I'm like a little broken out right now, is I'll take this, since it's a direct match, and I'll just kind of spot conceal places where, you know, I have a pimple or 2. And then I just take my beauty blender and lightly blend that in. So now for actual concealer, this is like so out. I really need to get a new one, so I really hope that there's enough to do this video. But this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 20. It's called Sand, and this is what I use to go in and do my highlight portion with this. So I'm just gonna dig around in here, hope that we get enough product. All right, and then once we've painted our stripes all over our face, I again go in with that damp beauty blender, and I flip it to the other side, then the side that I use my foundation on, and just blend that all out. So now we want to go ahead and go in and set our concealer. So I've been using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Translucent Powder. I will say you need to use a light hand with this guy because it is potent. Like, I was using the normal amount that I thought I needed to use when I first got this, and my face looked just dry and cakey. So you really don't need a lot. So what I do is I just tap a little bit into the cap. I grab a brush and I kind of focus it just under my eyes the most because that's where I find that my foundation tends to crease. And then I just take the tiniest little bit and dab it on my forehead and down the center of my nose and onto my chin just to make sure it absorbs the oil there. So I just let that sit. So that's what I'm gonna do. And honestly, for every day, like I really don't do like a heavy bake. Maybe I would if I was using a different powder than this one, but I find that doing like a heavy cakey bake, what? Doing a heavy bake with this powder just makes my face look way more cakey than I want it to. So I'm gonna let that set. And then this is normally the time when I would do my eyebrows. Should I do them? Yeah, why don't I do them? So for eyebrows, I am going to take my trusty Benefit Ka-Brow in the shade number 6. This is the darkest one they have. So what I do first is I like to trace them out. So I just get a little bit on my brush, and I always do my right eyebrow first. This one behaves a lot more than this one does. And I just like to kind of lightly trace out the shape that I want first, and then go back and fill in the center later. And then for the innermost part of my brow, I really like to use kind of a light hand there because my eyebrows are so dark and the product that I'm using is so dark. I don't really want them to look fake. So I'll just dip back into it a little bit more and then use like really small, light, feathery strokes in here to fill it in without it looking too dark or like really drawn on. You know what I mean? And then to finish, I just kind of do one more brush through with the little brow brush. And since I have pretty unruly brows, I like to take this. This looks a hot mess because it's well used, so I'm sorry this looks so dirty. This is kind of embarrassing. But Maybelline Great Lash, like the mascara that usually comes in the pink bottle that like everybody knows has been around forever, they make a clear mascara slash brow gel, and I absolutely love this. It lasts me forever, and it helps keep like the unruliness of my brows, like the extra hairs and everything, in place. I always have this little hair right here that like dips down, so I always try to get it with this. Oops. My roommate from college just texted me, "Hey Lise, just got your text." So now that we've let our translucent powder set, I am going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me matte and poreless powder in the shade 230. It's called Natural Buff with a big Morphe powder brush. This is from my Morphe 680 set. And go like this, and then just dust that translucent powder off. This just helps with like white cast, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily want your face looking white from the translucent powder, and gives you a little bit of extra mattification, if that's a word. Smooth everything out. So next we are going to bronze and contour. So first I'm going to take my Tartiste contour palette by Tarte, and I have been using, I think this is shade 5. This bronzing powder right here. It's just got a little bit of shimmer with an IT Cosmetics Wand Ball powder brush. Just a nice big fluffy brush. And I'm gonna swirl around in the bronzer. And then I just take it right under the hollows of my cheeks here and up and around. I kind of do this lightly, and then after this I sharpen it with a matte bronzer, and that's kind of the powder contour. So it's kind of the technique that I've been liking to use, especially in the summer when you just feel like you need a little bit of extra bronze. Like if your foundation color, if you're using your normal foundation color and it's just like a little too light, bronzing lightly like this before you contour will help with that. I always like to bronze my neck because I just feel like it never, like the sun never gets under there. You know what I mean? So I just like to have it look like it matches the rest of my body. Next, I am going to go in and do a powder contour. So I am going to take the Benefit Cheek Parade palette. I really love this. It's got 3 blushes. Ooh. 3 blushes. Ooh.
3 blushes.
Hopefully that was supposed to happen. Okay, let's try that again. It's got 3 blushes and then both Hoola bronzers. So we have Dandelion, Rocketeur, California, and then Hoola Light and Hoola. So I'm gonna dip into that with Hoola. I'm just gonna suck in my cheeks and go right in the hollows of my cheeks there with the powder contour. Then I'm just gonna take it up and around my cheekbones and up onto the sides of my forehead here. And then if you want, you can just dab a little bit in there and go right around your jawline, your jawbone. Just get a little bit extra, a little bit more of a sculpt. I like to just kind of lightly do that. Blend it into my ears. Ta-da. So my go-to blush is definitely a nice like peachy or pinky color. So the blush in the Too Faced Sweet Peach Glow Kit here, or California in the Benefit Cheek palette are 2 colors that I really, really have been going for lately. So why don't I use California today? I haven't used that in a while. And I'm just gonna take, this is IT Cosmetics French Boutique Blush Brush. I like it because it's, oh God, it really needs to be clean, sorry. But I like it because it's slanted, so it really helps you just kind of follow the shape of your cheekbone. So I just dip that in and smile really pretty and focus it right here on the apples of the cheeks, and then sweep up back towards your hairline. You can see it just gives like a nice natural, like for every day, a really pretty glow to the cheeks without it being like boom, blush. And finally, we are going to move on to my personal favorite part, the highlight. So I have been using 2 different products for this lately. So I start out with a cream highlight, and I've been absolutely loving like rosy gold toned highlighters. That's been my go-to shade, like absolutely hands down. So first I take the NYX Away We Glow liquid highlighter in the shade Moonbeam. And I just do kind of like 1, 2, 3 right there on my cheek. And I literally just take my finger and blend that. And I'm gonna use my left hand because I'm left-handed. I will say a little definitely goes a long way with this, and we are going to put a powder highlight on top. So be careful, because you will, depending on how much you want, you'll end up with it all over the side of your face. But I just like to blend that out as a base so that the powder highlight has something to grab onto. And then here's the trick. I definitely learned this from watching YouTube. I want to say it was Mac Daddy that I learned this from. So what you do is you take take your setting spray. This is the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. Spray your entire face. And as that's drying, like give it a couple seconds to dry, but just before it dries completely on your face, take a little bit of that powder highlight if you really want to kind of amp it up a little bit. This is just a Morphe fan brush, and dab it right there on that highest point kind of your cheekbone. And you can see it just grabs onto that highlighter, and you are just good to glow. All right, guys, so that is it for my kind of everyday full face foundation, and even I know we got a little bit of brows in there, routine. So I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a little bit. So if you did like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the Gregorio Girls channel before you leave. Like us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya.